Spirit. Yeah, I didn't do a journal entry yesterday. I didn't do much of anything yesterday, except sit with myself. And then Rashini and I would go take a walk, or we came down here did our usual morning routine, and oh my gosh, feeling great, feeling good. And we get back to the apartment and ate, had our beautiful little normal time. Well, that was Wednesday too. That was Wednesday too. And then it gets into the afternoon, and I keep hearing change things up. And yet there's just no motivation for the afternoon. Especially these last couple days. Not even the motivation to really... Well, there's the motivation to get onto the fire ceremony. However, absolutely no motivation to turn on the camera or share. Same was true with typically my normal grandmother circle. Normally there's just this fire under my belly type of thing, or in my heart. So and this mind of mine, it's like even Monday with the massage, it was, just popped my head off. She laughed and she's like, "Oh, I get it." And she did. And it was a beautiful 24 hours. And there's no motivation for Sadhguru. There's no motivation for... It's like this blob feeling. And then there's this other part of me that's like, I really connected with it, because I'm like, what is the core wound? What is the core wound? I did the exercise actually twice, and past couple days. Once, not actually writing it down, but really sitting and being with it. And then last night I actually wrote it out and actually went back and did it a second time. So you could say 3 times. And come on. Let's get back up to the space where you really like to haunt. Come on, up there where Garuda is. We can do it. You can make it. No motivation to swim, no motivation to dance. I did draw. I did draw on the grandmother's circle. Drew a drawing, and Kate, there's a beautiful sister, I didn't mean to say her name, but a sister of mine who, she's feeling the need to kind of pull back and change things up too. And this is where, if I really think back, and this is what keeps coming to me, is that's where the feeling began. And then it has just kind of snowballed since then. She had shared that she was pulling back from the circle. She felt, and I was so fucking happy for her. So happy for her. However, it brought up this shadow side. And when I really sit with it, it's this, and that really hit me, this biological mother, family, ancestral, whatever you want to call it, line bullshit. And, going back to that core wound, so, what was it? And then, really intensely missing my mother, my adopted mother. I found myself practically collapsing in the floor, the kitchen, going, God, Mama, it's just so much. Really missing her. And now I feel her presence, and I can hear her wisdom. I can almost hear her whispering to me and different signs. And then at the same time, there's this empowering piece. Because once again, I've been hearing, and this was actually brought up before Monday, was hearing, get these drawings, get this project complete, and then you're going on a blackout for a while. You need to black out for a little while. And I'm like, okay. And then yet there's this other side of me that is like, you'll black out for a few days, but then it's time. Continue to rest. Continue to work this one piece. And then you'll black out for a while. Go on a blackout, so to speak. And then let's hit it. Let's do it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this is going to be interesting to see what actually unfolds. So, when they say that which planet is squaring Chiron, the wounded healer? Right at this moment, I think it's Sun and Scorpio. No, I know the moon is in, or Pluto is in Aquarius. Breathe a second. Here, I'm gonna. Oh, gorgeous yellow bird. I'm telling you that. Oh yeah. Those of you up north, the robins have arrived. Saw the first robin on Monday, I think it was. On Monday. Interesting. Yes, Monday. The first robin down here at the wetlands. Well, well, down here in this area, so the winter robins have arrived. And the same with a lot of the winter snowbirds, human-wise, has arrived. That's a beautiful little spot right there. Reminds me up north, the Red Rock area. The white herons out there in the trees. I think there's like 3 of them out there. Big, tall white herons. So the sun is in Scorpio, I believe. And squaring Mars, who's in Chiron. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, hi. Hi. How are you? You're gorgeous. You are so small. Very small. Gorgeous. Yeah, this ping-ponging back and forth, because then I settle into this, you're just rest. Everything is in divine order. You know, you're taking yourself back to that little cave, that stop, drop, and roll, and then moving into that neutrality and feeling grateful and gratitude, and then whoosh, the next wave comes over and it's like, okay, and then swoosh, back again. I'm like, okay. So, been staying in solitude other than Rashini and I coming down here. We are going to have, we do get, I don't want to say have to, but we do have to. We get to go to the store on our way back and pick up some water and so forth. We need to do the next grocery run that I'm knowing will get us through till the 1st. And water, coconut water, some apples and bananas. Anyway, so let's just keep hanging on to each other. Keep hanging on to each other. And this is where some beliefs from my biological family have kind of been surfacing here and there. You breathe through them and go take it back to the truth. And one of the truths that my adopted mom shared with me once, when I had stopped Deming, New Mexico, and was asked to do a blessing, help facilitate a portion of a blessing. Someone shared I was a reverend or minister, and I'm like, So they brought me forward. And of course, you know, I don't look like a typical minister, and I was a stranger to the community, having just rolled in off the road. And it was interesting that I felt kind of like outcasted, right? The community had the motorcyclists. There's this huge long line of motorcycles, right? And they were doing a blessing of the ponies. Well, like motorcycles. And of course, I was, Iron Pony, and so I whip out my little sage bundle, and I had some sage and fan, and of course they were also using water, and so I was dipping my wand into the water and doing it that way. And only one person actually came up, and they were kind of looking at you funny and so forth. And I'm like, okay, well, and then nobody rode with me either. They rode off in their little packs, and I'm like, okay. So I just kind of rode by myself. Hey, I'm a lone wolf, no worries. I did the run, and that was the strong part of me, the courageous part of me, the lone wolf part of me, the science of mind part of me. And then the other side of me, the shadow side with all the beliefs, started kicking in, and wow. So I called my adopted mom, right? And she shared with me, anybody worth riding with will feel honored to ride with you, or something like that. I had put it in a little meme. She said it so perfectly. Those that choose to ride with you are worth riding with, or vice versa, something along those lines. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. And the next day I show up, I'm like, I'm gonna show up, There was the second part. So that was the blessings of the bikes, and the next day was the actual ride. And then showed up to the celebration afterwards, just briefly. Of course, sat by myself, and then left, because the drinking and all of that starts kicking in, and I don't do that, especially not on my pony, and I surely don't like hanging around a bunch of them. So it's just not my crowd anymore. I did that in the early days, and it took me to some pretty dark places. And being native, don't go there either. Well, then somebody had come up to me later and said, hey, you're part this or part that. And I says, yes. Well, would you bless my bell? I didn't have my bell when you did the blessings of the pikes, and I would really appreciate it if you blessed my bell in that native way. And so I felt quite honored and did so. And I ended up, sticking around there after a while, and, did my thing with the houseless shelter, and they were part of the American Legion Riders, and felt very honored and blessed to be a part of them, to felt protected, very, very protected. It was definitely a family. And of course, then things start happening inside of the family, and yeah, I'm not going to go into that story currently, right here, right now, but it was those kinds of feelings that started waving over me these past few days. And so I remember, once again sitting with What is the core? What is the core wound here? What is the core wound here? And, of course I see it. Betrayal, feeling lied to, feeling betrayed, feeling shunned, feeling like that's the feeling as if I'm not who I am, so to speak. And I'm not sure how to word it very concisely, because the wound that I remember it so clearly. I didn't remember it for many, many years, but I remembered it and went directly to that, oh, it's a girl. I don't want it. Send it back. No, it's supposed to be a boy. So, it's that kind of that backwards girl kind of thing going, whoa, wait a minute here. Does it matter if I'm a male or a female? I'm your baby. I'm your child. And having to live up to certain expectations and not being honored for who I really am, or that my voice or my feelings mattered. And that is not the family that we have currently. At least I don't want to believe it. If it is, but I don't believe it. And so, bringing that back around to the truth, and, honoring each and every one of us for who we are. So, it's interesting how all of that is getting stirred up, but it's being stirred up because Spirit is stirring that up. The consciousness is stirring that up. The only one that is in control inside of each and every one of us, truly, absolutely, truly in control, no matter how we try to work it in our little human brains. The only time you can really shift that is taking it back to the truth, taking it back to prayer, taking it back to that core center of who we all are, and that is what we are living. That is what's guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting each and every one of us. It's the only one that can give life and the only one that can take life. And so coming back to that core space over and over, it feels like minute by minute, hour by hour, over and over and over and over these past few days. And some of it, really sitting with it and allowing yourself to feel those feelings. Those feelings want to be honored. Those feelings want to be heard. Those feelings want to be, and not that you go into the quicksand of it, which is so easy to do. And it is easy to do. It is easy to do. It can be. But it can be just as easy to stay steadfast and work through it and honor it and feel it and then release it right back to the earth, which is all that grounding. That's what we are doing currently on a collective, which, a part of me, with different scenarios coming up and different waves coming up, because many of us have given ourselves to the collective, of service to the collective, it's just as much personal as it is collective, and collective as it is personal. So, and I do believe that there is another planet that is getting ready to go direct, that has been a part of this Pluto retrograde and been in a retrograde for a little while. I need to check my notes. And this Venus, Pluto, Chiron, and Aquarius, Scorpio, Sun, and the Sun, Scorpio and Aquarius is the one side of it, and then you have the planets that are squaring each other, and all at the same time, along with 7 comets that are surrounding Earth, and AI Atlas being zapped by the sun. I mean, we're talking some boom shakalaka lakas, as Stefan Burns would say, just blasting the crap out of AI Atlas, and all of that is going into our atmosphere and coming in because it is in our inner solar system. So not only are we a part of Earth, and she is doing her thing and working it, and we've had Moon, we've got Moon, Earth, Sun, and Atlas getting ready to do a full lineup if it hasn't already happened. But all of that it's just an amazing part of our evolution. Our evolution. And so I am so grateful to be a part of it. Yes, our heads are wanting to pop off. Our necks and shoulders are being ramped up. That space between your shoulder blades, which is a part of your heart center that you just can't reach. They call it the wing space. All of that is ramping up. And so I am very, very grateful, very, very grateful to have this space where Rashini and I can come, for Garuda to receive winds therapy and work the legs at the same time. The bicycle part is kicking my ass. And having our walks in the evenings now, where I'm actually walking it and hiking it and getting our 2 miles in the evenings, and a space where I can reconnect with nature and feel the animals and see the birds migrating. This is where the squirrels come from. I don't know why that one squirrel was all the way over there where she was, but you just don't see them in the city. The only thing wild you could say that you see in the city is, well, the 2-leggeds, the birds, and the domestic cat. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop this here. Thank you for these past few days, and working the program, you could say. Working the program. Working the energies. Aho! Hey, hey. Aho! Thank you. Oh, I needed that. Hey, hey.